Hi everyone, I'm Gary Waterman. Welcome to part 3 of my updated summary and proposed strategy. You can find the document that I'm reading within the public document file that's available to everyone. So just reading the last part of page 5 that we read. I researched Robert and Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein and Max Clifford through Companies House records, as well as cases of apparent child abuse and murder, including the Hampstead Child Abuse Inquiry. And it was page 6 now. And it was overwhelmingly evident there was a connection to the fraud and to child trafficking. Further significant evidence and connections were made to the Isle of Wight, specific members of Exmoor Manor Freehold Limited, and an informal parliamentary UK island group set up by the Isle of Wight's Member of Parliament that was linked quickly to Ghislaine Maxwell and offshore tax havens that can also be used for money laundering. This Member of Parliament was also the Minister for Russia, that also links to Ukraine via Exmoor Manor Freehold Limited. The Isle of Wight appears to be the hub of the UK's child trafficking network, and Ukraine the hub for mainland Europe, with children being taken into Russia and other parts of Europe. This system of fraud provides motives for world conflicts through defrauding the masses through the taxation system, using government contracts through illegal weapons companies, and through the ability to capture children and force them into child trafficking networks for slavery, sex, I'll say the fluid taken from these poor children, and organ harvesting worth trillions of pounds. I've found significant evidence linking the case of Madeleine McCann to the fraud, and approached a particular journalist who had specific knowledge and involvement in investigating this case. They refused to assist, and soon afterwards a company they were part of dissolved, and this led, through Companies House research, to the fraud. They later went on to publicly try and undermine the evidence that I was presenting, and confirmed that they had been in discussion with other members of Exmoor Manor Freehold Limited. I found evidence linking the case of Madeleine McCann case to the case of Nicola Bulley, the lady that went missing in Lancashire in early 2023, not long after I was exposing the fraud. My research surrounding the death of Nicola Bulley identified that a directed energy weapons company was being created. A directed energy weapon was being created by the UK's largest defence contractor, BAE Systems, Thales, which is a company, and others at the time of Nicola's disappearance. Information showed that Nicola's husband worked for BAE Systems, and Companies House records showed that a police-associated organisation linked to those investigating the death of Nicola Bulley were linked to Thales also. The same fraudulent companies that I've been identifying were shown throughout the research, and these weapons companies were established to be closely linked to others involved in implementing the mobile communication systems and street lighting, where this communication system had also been integrated into around the world. This included Siemens, a very old German company that was started 3 years after Companies House, and where research suggests they had been involved in international bribery and had previously supplied materials to Nazi concentration camps. There were illegal entity companies throughout this research, with most of the companies involved in this technology being illegal. Of course, that means there's no accountability or liability. There were illegal entity companies throughout, as I've said, and this, along with vast amounts of other evidence, including an apparent leaked military population report suggesting there would be millions of people less by 2025, all suggested that a weapons system had been integrated into the mobile communication systems around the world. We'll come on to that a little bit later. I had started creating documents showing the raw data of my research, meaning that it was verifiable and corroborative by anyone that followed the evidential links within those documents. I placed these documents within the publicly accessible document file and shared them everywhere. I suggest everyone continues to do the same. It was clear that despite Companies House having over 5 million registered companies, there were significant connections and evidence of duplication of information within the research to confirm the fraudulent system and its international centralisation. I had started to make connections to Russia and the fraud, and in February 2024, I suspect an attempt was made on my life through poisoning. This was later reported to the police, including my previous police force that I worked for, repeatedly, and was completely ignored along with all of my later reports, apart from me receiving one call from someone who used to work within Dorset Police saying that someone from Exbourne Manor Freehold Limited had asked them to tell me to stop mentioning their name. They ignored all other information and evidence. I later found significant connections to the intelligence services, the UK government, Russia, the royal family, Ukraine, others associated with Exbourne Manor Freehold Limited, and the same directed energy weapons companies, as well as royal pooled pension funds companies. This evidence showed that as I was publicly exposing the fraud, they were changing company names, resigning from or dissolving companies, seemingly to try and conceal the Russian connection. We'll come on to that a little bit later. During my journey, I've been in contact with some fantastic people that understand how significant this evidence is and wanting to help. I had previously received a copy of a German letter, an associated table of names of children between 6 and 12 years old, appearing to be related to the fluid taken from those poor children, shall we say, and I've just gone on to mention what that is. The document suggests how lucrative this fluid is, with a suggestion that it can be sold for, this was in 2020 when the document was created, for $1,920 per milligram, and research suggests that it is that it is more addictive than heroin, causes schizophrenia, and possibly holds youth rejuvenating qualities. The document also shows that it was associated with a company called CYM Limited, and Companies House research showed that this company linked to the fraud and back to members of Exbourne Manor Freehold Limited. On the 23rd of June 2024, I was hosting a live Telegram stream on my channel when I noticed that the same acting chairman who had resigned at the beginning of all of this from Exbourne Manor Freehold Limited was listening in the background. A few minutes after I requested to talk to them on the live stream, a conversation ensued where they confirmed that they had been in contact with the same journalist who had been involved with the Madeleine McCann case but had refused to assist me. Another person also then came onto the live stream who had previously interviewed me, and they tried to undermine the evidence within that interview and also within this live stream, assisted by the person from Exbourne Manor Freehold Limited. This person then slipped up and suggested that they had been in contact with various members of Exbourne Manor Freehold Limited prior to the live stream, but then refused to confirm or deny this. Within the next couple of days, I received contact from someone else presenting evidence that this person in the live stream, the second person, had an alias name and was linked to CYM Limited, the same company on the document that I'd seen weeks earlier. This was by way of a Companies House record and via LinkedIn records. If you don't know what LinkedIn is, it's like a social media site for businesses. They had taken screenshots of the Companies House record, but on me trying to corroborate this information, the record had been removed within Companies House, which is very serious. And the company number related to a different company. However, despite them appearing to try and prevent my access to LinkedIn, the LinkedIn records that I acquired with the help of someone else confirmed the information that not only was this person linked to CYM Limited, but also to the military, Ericsson 6G mobile communications, and to with research and development in relation to that, but also to COVID vaccine companies. Okay, we're going to go on to part 4.